Hello, I'm going to talk about fear. We give away our power when we are afraid, when we're in that state of mind and the array of emotions that result in being afraid means that we give away our power. And right now in the world, and I talk about this all the time, it's so integral that we stand in a position of inner strength and love. And love is the polar opposite of fear. Love is where we truly can tap into all of our strengths that may have been hidden from us throughout our lives. Now is the time that we can start to really explore the inner strengths and maybe innate technology that we have been walking around with all of this time. But it's there. It may be dormant, but it is there for us to take hold of if we choose to consciously do that in our lives. Now, if you are someone who has experienced anxiety or depression in your life, you may be feeling a little bit more susceptible to the fear pandemic at the moment. So let's look at how we can rewire the brain so that we don't have to get stuck in that fear that's trying to kind of infect us, if you like, that's all around us right now. So for those of you who may not realize, depression actually affects about 1 in 8 men and 1 in 6 women. Similarly, anxiety has an even higher rate, 1 in 5 men and 1 in 3 women. But I can guarantee that these figures have spiked in the last 2 years. And I don't need to go into why. I think we all know. The point is, it's very, very prolific, and it's not something that we can hide away from. However, it's also quite serious. So if you leave anxiety or depression unchecked, this will affect all parts of your life. It will snowball. So be warned, this is an important time to take notice and stand up and see. So from an NLP perspective, depression is very simply being caught in a loop, which is stuck in the past. So in other words, consistently accessing memories of pain from the past and unconsciously reliving them. And anxiety, on the other hand, is very simply being caught in a loop, which is stuck in the future. So in other words, consistently creating worst case scenario fantasies of the future because nobody knows the future. So today, I'm here to help you understand that these are ways of thinking, your neural wiring, that can be changed. Do not think for a second that you need to get on the pandemic of fear or the fear train. Now, in 2005, the National Science Foundation published an article, and it summarized research on human thoughts per day. It was found that the average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, okay? And I may have mentioned this in another video, but of those thousands of thoughts, 80%, that's a whopping amount. And we're negative. 80% were negative thinking. We're thoughts that were going to harm us. And 95% of all of these thoughts were just repetitive. They were the same thoughts from the day before. So this means we are acting on autopilot most of the time, according to our programming. And I talk about programming all the time. Now, these programs come from our beliefs, our past experiences, and our values. Neuroscience has found that we can consciously rewire our brain. We have neuroplastic brains. But what do we want to wire into our brains instead, you may ask? So most of our pain comes from the perception of time and space. So if we took away time and space, think about it, from our reality, we would have no depression and no anxiety because we would only have right now, this now moment. So when you are truly present in the now, you're not thinking about what has happened to you in the past or what could happen to you in the future. You are purely observing all of your senses, the position that you are occupying right now. So one of the fastest ways to rewire your brain and release these states of depression or anxiety that you may have held on to your entire life in cycles is to start consciously practicing being completely present. Now, even if it starts with just 5 minutes a day, taking time out from your memories and your imagination. Like, it takes about 21 days to create a new neural pathway, and on average about 66 days of conscious changing behavior. So this is how we create a wide-lane superhighway neural pathway, if you like. So a well-established new habitual way of thinking, and it becomes second nature. You no longer have to think about it. Your training wheels are taken off. So this has radically changed my life for the better. And this is why I share this with you. So before I go, I'd love to leave you with a little shortcut for getting into the present moment. This is the armor that we need to put on today to allow ourselves protection and power in our stand against fear. So this is going to create instant joy, remembering that happiness is simply a state of mind that you can turn on at any time. You see, happiness is a neural peptide that the brain pumps when you access a positive memory, idea, or thought. So you can train your brain to access this state simply by following 2 steps. This is it, just 2 simple steps, okay? So step 1, remember that motion equals emotion. So slow your breathing. I always slow someone's breath before a session or before any kind of learning. This is going to take you out of the fight and flight part of the brain and into the logical, the part of the brain that's calm. So deep breaths. This will tell your whole biological system that you are safe. So breathing in for 5 seconds and out. So even doing it once is going to make you feel good. So doing this alone will drastically improve your emotional and your physical health. Okay, so after you've taken several deep breaths, step 2. Think of 3 things that you're grateful for right now, in this current now moment. That might be that the sun is shining, or that you have a job, or that you have someone who loves you in your life, or that you simply appreciate being alive. What you are doing is accessing feelings of appreciation, gratitude, compassion, and love. So it becomes almost impossible to feel sad, depressed, or anxious during this step. And that's what we want to do. We want to train our brain to be able to do this more and more and more on default as an automatic program. So remember too that anxiety and depression are signs that you need to address something in your life. It doesn't matter what it's from. You need to address it. You can't just drink a cup of concrete or snap out of it. It takes acknowledgement that something is out of whack. And right now in the world, it's very clear there is something out of whack, but you can take responsibility back and take that cause and be the driver back in your life and be able to control your emotional reactions and responses. So don't just push anything down. Just like you would research good health for your body, do some research on mastering the mind and living in the heart. There is a knock-on effect when you make it important to nurture your mind just as much as your physical body. Your whole life starts improving drastically. So if you want to armor yourself today from the pandemic of fear, then I would highly, highly recommend you follow these 2 very simple steps. Begin to be conscious in your breath, practice breath work, and then an attitude of gratitude to become present. It's not just the act of gratitude, it's learning to be present. Becoming present takes you out of the fear of the past and the fear of the future and all the fantasies and illusions that we create because of that. And you can become more empowered and you can have the strength and resilience you need to take the next step. So I hope that I've empowered you. I hope I've given you some important steps that you can put into your life practice so that you are more in that place of love. So have a beautiful day, and please like and subscribe if you resonate with this message. See ya. Bye.